Hey, welcome, Judith. It's good to have you back here on the screen. This is the second session of the marketing clinic. Like we have agreed, we are focusing this second session on reality check. Can you say hello to our audience that are watching?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me, Julian.
Thank you very much, Judith. It's a pleasure to have you here helping us fix our marketing foundation. And thank you for the previous session on Know Your Costs.
You're
It's a very, very privileged occasion to learn how to do that from you. So we're going to dive into this profit reality check, and we have agreed based on the feedback and responses we got from participants, we have agreed to turn these sessions into short explainer videos. So I have a few questions for Judith. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If this has been a place where you've been learning, we would like to hear from you in the comments. Judith has been introduced already, so it's going to be sweet, fun, simple session. So my first question to you, Judith, is based on what I have been seeing out there online. So everyone seems to be chasing revenue. You see they post sales numbers, I hit this, I hit that. They throw these things online, but I want to know, is that actually a good indicator of a business that is successful?
Oh, okay. So I want to believe you're talking about revenue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, revenue is not necessarily all the indicator you need to say a business is successful, right? I know this might sound surprising, but it's possible to make millions in sales revenue and still be running an unprofitable business. It happens a lot of the times.
Wow.
Okay.
You said it is possible to make millions in sales
Yes.
and still be unprofitable. How does that happen?
Okay. So let me put it this way. Now, because most business owners focus on revenue alone, right? I won't outrightly say it's the wrong metrics, but it's one of those metrics that are not the major metrics, right? Now, the truth is we've glorified revenue so much. That is why, just like you're referring online, you hear things like how I made 6 million in 1 month, how I made 39 million in 4 months, and all that. But the real question is, how much of that 6 or 39 million or 50 million, how much of that money did you actually keep as profit, right? Now, let me give this example of the 6 million. If out of 6 million naira that a business made as profits, if only 800,000 trickles down to profit, that's not a good thing. Now, that means that out of the 6 million, the 800,000 that was reserved as profit, or that was actually kept as profit, is a meager 13% of the whole 6 million, which means the other 87% went into expense. So you see why we cannot measure the success of a business, as it were, with just this revenue figure. Right? Does that answer your question, Julian?
Yes, and I want to believe it answered the question of business owners in the community.
I hope so too.
So it's that sales or revenue figure that is being pasted might not be the true reality if you made profit or not. Thank you very much, Judith. I will go to the next question. We're still talking about you made sales last month, but did you actually make profit? And that's why we want you to check your profit reality. So revenue alone doesn't tell a full story. We had this conversation, and I need you to actually explain this. When you say revenue alone does not tell the full story.
Okay, thank you, Julian. You remember every single sentence. I don't know how you do that. Yes, exactly. Revenue is incomplete all by itself, right? Because the truth is, when we talk about profitability actually goes beyond sales minus expense. Whatever you have there is profit. No, it's about the fact that profit is connected to your costs, right?
Yeah.
You made sales and you produce something, or you render a service and you made sales. Now, most times we just think, okay, what did it cost me to render this service or make this product? If I subtract it from my revenue, I get a profit. It's not just that straight, right? So your profit is connected to your costs. Now, what does it cost you to run your business? Not just your overhead, like we majorly focus on, every other cost. Now, it's also connected to your pricing. How much do you sell your product, right? And your profit margin. If your profit margin is low, for instance, it requires you to sell more quantity of your products, right? So you see how cost, pricing, your profit margin, and your sales volume, they are all connected. They all work together. So if it doesn't align, you might be making sales and still quietly be losing money. So let me put it in another context. Let's say your profit margin is very thin, and that will require you to sell, let's say, 1,000 products to ensure that you have enough amount of money to retain as profit after you remove your expenses. So if you sell, let's say, 600 products, you will not be profitable even when you made sales. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So revenue in itself is not complete.
Revenue in itself is not complete because
Absolutely.
you are supposed to consider price, cost, profit margin, sales volume. So
Yes.
revenue is not a standalone. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And my next question is, to you, in your own point of view, or from your own point of view, why is profit more important revenue? Why is profit more important than revenue in your own point?
Okay, to start with, I won't say it's my point of view. You see, profit is a business fact and reality. So it's really not my point of view thing, right? Now, the question you ask is, why is profit more important? The truth is, profit is actually the money that belongs to your business. Let's say it costs you 1,000 naira to produce a torchlight, for instance. If you sell that torchlight for 1,900,
Yeah.
you see, 1,000 naira will go back to producing that torchlight again. The 900 is actually what comes to your business to build your business, to grow it, to expand it, to cater to inflation, spend on overhead and all of that. So the reason profit is very important is because it is what sustains your business, right? It is profit that helps you survive inflation, especially in our climate where prices are rising every day. It is your profit that will help you expand your business or scale it as demand grows. It is your profit that you will use to scale or let's say upgrade your machinery, for instance, for manufacturing businesses. It is from your profit you handle unexpected expenses. Let's assume after the wholesale, by the third week of the month, one of your machines just break down. You see, that is an unexpected expense. It is from your profit you spend money to do that. You are not expected to be running everywhere to look for money to cater to such things. Your profit handles those things, right? And let's say all of a sudden you have big orders. To fulfill big orders is from your profit. But you see, because we don't have enough of this profit, we depend on borrowing money. We depend on loans, overdraft, and all of that, because we are not keeping enough as business owners or as businesses in our business for us to handle these important things. And so you see our profit going to spending our profit to do all the little operational activities instead of having enough set aside for such important business functions.
Wow.
So conclusively, sorry to cut in. Revenue can make you look successful, but profit is what actually keeps you in business.
Revenue can make you look successful.
Yes.
Profit is what keeps you in business. It's profit that keep you in business, not just revenue. Thank you very much. But how can a business owner figure out if they are profitable or not? How? Is there a way?
Yeah, there are so many ways businesses can figure out. There are many metrics that can be used. But for me, what I did was, what I do is I use the Profit Reality Check. It's a tool that I built for African business owners, right? Where we use your own real-time data, like your running cost, your selling prices, your profit margin per product, right? They are so important to calculate these things. There are generic, or let me call it conventional ways to check. But I build this because, just as you know, I am a manufacturer myself. I find these figures, my running cost, because my running cost is beyond just my overhead. It entails my production costs, my raw material purchases. So the total, what it costs me to run my business, let's say in a month, then my selling prices for the different items I sell, the profit margin, I get these key figures or data together to run what I call the Profit Reality Check, right? So from here, I can know if the X amount that I rate in as revenue, let's say in a given month, is it justified given the amount of money I have spent? Just like, from what we're saying is, it's possible to generate revenue and still be unprofitable. So I use this Profit Reality Check to actually assess and see, okay, I made X amount in sales, but I spent X and Y in overhead and V and W in, let's say, production expenditure, right? So if I put in my cost together, did I make enough revenue to cover not just my cost, but other expenses, right? So that's what I use the Profit Reality Check to do. Yes, to your answer, there are metrics that can be used, but I developed this because it's using my real-time numbers, like what just happened last month. Let's check. So I don't, if you're operating in Nigeria or maybe in other places in Africa, I don't know. I don't think we actually do have the luxury of waiting for the end of the year to know how well we did, given the fact that the way prices of goods and services rises in Nigeria. We don't have that luxury of quarter or at the end of the year. So just like they say in local balance, as they hot, we check. So we're checking in real time. Are we doing well? Are we not doing well? So that we adjust as fast as possible.
Okay, thank you, Judith.
You're welcome.
You've tried to explain this. I remember in our previous session, I told you I'm very visual. I studied fine arts. I love colors. I love shapes. So this thing you just explained, can you walk us through it, like with the aid of a diagram, or you can even share the tool that you said you built for yourself as a manufacturer and you're also using for your client? Just give us a glimpse, walk us through it. We know that these things, you use it for paid services, but just show us briefly so we can learn from what you just explained. Is
Yeah.
that possible from your end?
Sure, it's perfect possible. So just give me a little time to share with you. While
All
we're
right.
I love the fact that you always say you are visual.
I'm very visual.
It's a great one. Okay, few minutes. Let's get there. So I think I can share my screen now, right?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So here we are. Can you see my screen?
Let me stop sharing mine,
Okay.
so yours can come on. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Fantastic. So this is I just made a screenshot so that I just go straight to the point. So this is actual figure for, let's call her Amaka. That's not her real name anyway, but this is her actual sales figure for 1 month. So she was able to pull in 3.55 million naira as sales revenue. So that's why I said we are working with your data in real time, just last month's number, right? So, and on overhead, she spent 979,890,000. And on production costs, she's a manufacturing business. She spent 1.9 million and some fractions. And if you see here, you can see the selling prices for her product. She has 4 product ranges. So if you see the selling prices for each product, that's 1 unit, and their corresponding profit, right? Now, this is what she has been able to work on, on her own. So we pick these figures and we impute them into this. It works live. I don't want to
Oh, you mean it's real time?
Yes, it's real time. As you are imputing the figures, it will give you, let me show you the next place. Once we were done imputing all of these figures, right, inside this template, you get this automatically. We don't do anything here. It works out itself. Can you see the
Okay.
next?
Yes, I can see where you have sales revenue, overhead, production expense, and all.
Good. So what I want you to look at is these 2 places. It said average selling price, right? So her total selling price for the different products has been averaged. So it works it out. The same thing with her average profit. And what this place is telling us, here's the result, that Amaka was actually supposed to sell roughly 270 items, and she was supposed to rake in 5.4 million plus as her revenue. Let me go to the last place, like let's say the interpretation stage. Can you still see this?
Yes, I can see your
Okay,
interpretation.
thank you very much. You can see here, the interpretation simply means to justify the total amount she spent, which is 2.88 plus, right? On overhead and production cost, she should have, she was supposed to generate this amount, 5.4 plus, selling approximately this number of products to be able to justify this amount she spent. Now, before you ask me, that's a question people easily ask. Julian, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. People will say, but just you have made over 2.8, right? Remember, let me take you back. This was her revenue. 3.55, right?
Yes.
But this profit reality check is saying she's supposed to bring in 5.4 plus, right? Instead of that 3.5, just because she spent this amount. Now, what the profit reality check puts into consideration are things like, for instance, it happens a lot in the manufacturing space, where you go back to buy raw material and you find out that the prices have increased. What you just bought 2 weeks ago, the prices have increased. So this profit reality check, this assessment is putting into consideration inflation. It puts
Okay.
into, yes, it puts into consideration unexpected expenses, right?
Wow.
So if you make do with, if you just say, oh, let me relax, I've raked in a little bit more than I spent. What if prices of raw materials increase? Who are you going to borrow money from to make up for that, right? If you have unexpected expenditure, where do you go to get that money to make up for such things, right? These are just the two that just came to my mind to mention, right? So you see why you cannot do slightly above your expense and you feel comfortable. No, you can't. I didn't talk about things like defected goods. In the manufacturing space, you can make 2,000 items per batch, and let's say 14 of it gets bad, right? Now that 14, you have spent money to produce them. So who is going to give you the money to replace them? You spent on things like that. You didn't plan for them. They happened and you need to make up for them. So these are the reasons you cannot just spend raking a little above your expenses and feel you are doing well. And that's what happens in the business spaces. We just look at, okay, my expense is X amount, or my expense is 100 naira. So if I bring in 200, then I'm doing well. No, you're not doing well, because anything can happen beyond these three things that I mentioned. Julian, are you still with me?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think I've answered your question with the aid of a diagram, like you said.
Thank you very much. I will bring my screen back. Let me
let me see sharing from my end.
Yes, let's go back to questions, and thank you very much for sharing your like, yeah, you created it, so it's your property. Thank you for sharing that with us. So let me use myself, if the business owner, if Julian is not able to hit the target, what happens? If I don't sell up to that number from the reality check,
yes,
if I don't meet that number, what happens? What should I do? I need you to break this down in the simplest way, because our audience, they are here, they are listening, they want to learn.
Okay.
What happens? What happens? What can they do?
Okay, simply put, that business is not profitable, right?
Yeah.
Because you might survive month one.
Mm.
Like you just barely survive month one with little profit. Now, what of month two? If you do same thing in month two and do same thing in month three, those unexpected expenses, inflation, all of the things I mentioned, these three things I mentioned, when it happens, because it does happen, where will you get the money to get by? That's why a lot of businesses are struggling. You know why? Because there are so many costs that we did not factor in. But we have to pay for them from our profit. And after paying such expenses that we did not envisage, we didn't factor it in, maybe probably into our pricing and all of that, you see us struggling. You see us borrowing money. You see, so I've realized something, or let me not say I've realized something. I've seen some business owners spending more of their time, like 70% of their time, trying to write for grants and loans instead of running their business, because there's not enough money to run this business. Now, let me slide it in here. Is your business that is supposed to fetch all the money you need to run your business? It won't come from loans or grants or VC funding. No, that's why you are in business. So it's your profit that will do all of this and more, right? So if you don't hit this target consistently, let's even just say for 3 months, you'll be unprofitable. You keep scraping and scratching everywhere to get by, right? So no matter how good your sales look, ensure that, how do I say it? You need to outsell your expense by a wide margin. Let me repeat it. Business is not just about selling, right? We need to shift away from that. Oh, I just made sales. We have to outsell our expenses by a reasonable margin, right? Especially if your profit margin per product is very thin. A lot of business owners, you see them, their profit margin is just 7%, 12%. So that's business that have just 7% as profit margin on each product. You have to sell more, you will do more, you market more, you will hustle more to sell more to be able to have enough profit to cater to your business. Let me explain it this way further. You know, when you make sales, bulk of that sales money or revenue is going back to maybe buy the raw materials again or buy the goods that you are selling again. It's only profit that belongs to your business. And if it's too small, you can barely survive that cycle. You can barely survive in that business, right? So in one word, if you don't hit your target, if you don't outsell your expenses by a very good margin, by a very wide gap, you will be struggling. And that's why a lot of business owners are struggling.
Wow. Thanks for that emphasis. But what should a business owner that is just hearing this, what should that business owner start doing differently from now on? What can you advise?
Okay. Top of my head, let me say you do two things. There are a lot you should do or can do. But let me say, number one, get a proper costing and pricing for your product and your services, right? Julian, you can testify to this. With the clients who have worked with, so many business owners just copied their competitors' prices. They didn't really sit down to use their own data to do a proper costing and pricing of every single item that they sell, right? You can't survive this way. I just explained something. If your profit margin is too thin or too low, you need to sell so many items to be able to survive, right? So first of all, sit down, gather your data together. It's not one thing you just do overnight. No, it's not the one that you'll be using app to press up. You need your real data. You need at least your running cost. What does it cost you? What should be the profit margin that suits your own business, not what every other person is doing. So you start from there. Then the second thing is, you know, each time we talk about money, it's easy for us to just look at how do we manage our money? This money comes from somewhere, and it comes from sales. And if you take sales back a bit, one more step back, you find out that it's about marketing. So the second thing I'll tell a business owner to do is build a marketing system that's in place, because you actually need consistent sales to be able to bring in this money, the required money we're talking about. You know why we started working together, Julian. Yes, money management is fantastic. It's about money. Manage your money, do this. But you see, this money comes from somewhere. It comes from marketing and selling what you have. When it now comes in, you begin to manage it properly. So I think, just like I said, top of my head, ensure that the price that you are going to sell your product is profitable. The cost is properly captured and accurate, right? So have a marketing system in place, a marketing that converts, a marketing that will be bringing in sales, not the one that will be scratching and scraping. Julian, I don't think I'm in the best position to talk about this marketing. So just give us one or two about this marketing thing. It's not my forte, you know.
All right, thank you. And let me just chip in. That's why we started this money foundation with know your costs. right? What it costs me to run my business on a given period is not the same thing it will cost you, even if we are selling the same thing. Your cost reality is different from my cost reality, and you are going to price your product based on your own cost reality. Judith is saying, don't copy your competitors. Go and watch that video. If you have not seen Know Your Costs, spend time, watch, and actually take a practical exercise. If you know your costs, your pricing of your product or your service will fit exactly your situation. Once you're done with that, then you move to this. That's why we say what we are doing for you here, what we're doing with you here is layered. And this is exactly what we do for our clients. The second thing she said is you need to sell more, outsell every given day. Now, how do you sell more? You sell with a repeatable marketing system. You know your customers, you know their pain point, you use their pain point to create the message that should go out there, that immediately they see it, they say, I must buy this product. This is the only thing that is going to solve my problem, right? They buy, you make money. That is not telling you once you sell once, you go and relax. No, you repeat that process over and over. And that is why there is something called the marketing system. Remember, after the money foundation, we're going to talk about the marketing foundation. A lot of people don't have this foundation. That is why we're teaching it. Every business, no matter the size, you need to build your own marketing system based on your capacity and based on your current situation. There is a session for that. When we're done with Judith's classes, we will move into marketing. So pull your note, document the gaps, take action, ask us questions. We've also provided a paid service at your stage. There are 3 different stages. Choose the one that suits you based on the resources you have right now and fix this thing. It's not your forte. It's not my forte. Judith is my own coach. I pay her for her services, and my life has really changed because I'm using what she's teaching me to apply in my business. And the same thing will work for you. So Judith, I hope I was able to bring in the marketing side that you wanted me to.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
fantastic. I think we still have one more question, but I want to believe that as many that are watching, you are getting value. Drop a comment, leave thumbs up. Let's know that this is hitting the right places and is making sense to you. So for your final thoughts, Judith, what is one message you want every business owner that is watching, that is listening, to remember?
Thank you very much. Let me think. Okay. So, what I'll tell you is before you celebrate your revenue, I want you to check if that revenue justifies your expenses, right? Don't feel bad. Don't feel like, no, I want you to shine. I want you to shout online like you are hitting targets. But please kindly help me and help yourself. Check that 10 million. Is it justified? Because people are raking in 30 million, 40 million and spending like 80% of it on expenses. In short, some are doing up to 90%. And yes, it's okay to feel that, don't worry, this 10% is enough. Before you know it, when some factors comes into play, like inflation and all of that, it's easy for 10% to just go like that in a heartbeat. So kindly ensure that before you celebrate that jumbo revenue, check, is it justified? Is it enough compared to how much you spend? So because at the end of the day, right, it's profit that will bring sanity into your business, because profit is is the only thing that belongs to your business, right? So let me wrap up with what they say. They say revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. It's not, it's a big sanity, because if you have it, you can do a whole lot more. If you have it, if a lot of people have this profit, reasonable profit, they won't be walking up and down looking for where to get money to run their daily operations. So, Julian, I think that's what I will leave us with, that before you celebrate your revenue, check if it's enough. If what will be saved as profit from that revenue is reasonable. If it's not reasonable, there are things, help yourself. That's what I would say.
Okay, before you celebrate your jumbo revenue, be sure that you are profitable. And what is one exercise they can start with today?
I will recommend you take the profit reality check.
And what's that?
That's what I shared with us when you said I should do the practical, show you the practical side to it. Profit reality check is just using, let's say, 1 month data. That's your last month sales figures, your last month overhead expense, your last month, if you're in manufacturing, your last month's production, and your current prices and their corresponding profit. We'll use it to check, at least for 1 month, were you profitable? You can pick it up from there, because when you know what you are supposed to be targeting, right, your mindset will first of all shift from whatever it is right now. So I will recommend that you take the profit reality check, not because it's coming from me. In short, if you have something better out there that will point you to all of these things using your very real-time data, go ahead and do that.
Okay, dear business owner, Judith says, not every revenue is profit. Before you celebrate that jumbo last month sales, take the profit reality check, profit reality assessment. Take it now and see if your business is really profitable. And for you to do this, reach out to Judith, check the description for the link. She will be available to help you. Excuse me. She will be available to help you know if you're profitable or not. And we're leaving you with the other offer that we have. If what we have shared, both in Know Your Costs and this profit reality check, expose some gaps in your business, you are seeing that you skipped certain things, you missed certain steps, there is no point knowing this thing and not fixing them. And for you that don't want to fix this by yourself, the money and marketing operating system was created specially for you. We have 3 different phases based on where you are, your capacity, your resources. Go through, pick the one that aligns with your money, that aligns with your capacity, and let's get started. You can't run business without foundation. You can't build a house without foundation. It will scatter. And we don't want your business to experience any form of scatter. So this is for serious business owners who want structure. No more theory. You want to lay a proper foundation. Applications are open. Check the description for the link, or you comment with MMOS to apply. So thank you very much for joining Judith and Julian, or Julian and Judith. Our next session, we'll be talking about costs, price breakdown. Judith, am I right or right?
You're right. So
right.
Yes, we'll be talking about, I'm no longer going to separate it, cost breakdown, then costing and pricing immediately, so that it makes sense together that way.
All right. So thank you very much, Judith, for today's session. Please, if you find this valuable, if you find it interesting, Judith and Julian, you guys broke this thing down, leave a comment. Let's hear you. Let other people even see it and want to rush to come and take this. Share this thing. You are getting it for free. We are not charging you for it. So don't keep this knowledge to yourself. If you forgot to watch the previous one, please go check, know your cost, and take the practical exercise. Many more practical sessions are coming under Marketing Clinic. When we're done with Money Foundation, we'll move to Marketing Foundation. From Marketing Foundation, we'll go to Digital Marketing Foundation. Are these not the things that have been disturbing you? They've been stopping you in your business. You every day you are like, this thing is not adding up. People are not converting. All these are the things that are stopping you, and we are here to get them fixed. So thank you, Judith. We will see you in our next class. And I want to say thank you again for doing this with me and doing this for African business owners. Look at you giving me thumbs up. Let me give you more from my own end. Thank you very much. And I will see you all in the WhatsApp group. Don't forget, ask questions, leave comment. No shame, no forming, no pretense. That is our mantra in the Marketing Clinic. Ciao. See you some other time.